Hello children, so today in Fiber to Fabric we are going to study about weaving, which is the third step in the manufacture of the cotton fabric. So this is the process of arranging two yarns together to make a fabric, something of this sort. So you can see here that how weaving is producing the cloth or the fabric made up of cotton. Also, you can see here the threads which are arranged horizontally and vertically crossed over one another, and that is how we can make a fabric out of yarn. Now, let us see how we do it. First of all, we need two distinct sets of yarn, and one set is used vertically and the other one is used horizontally. So, this lateral or horizontal thread is called weft, whereas the longitudinal or the vertical thread is called warp. Now, what is the device for weaving? Weaving cannot be easily done with hands, and doing it with hands will also not bring in perfection. So, we make use of certain devices for weaving, and the device commonly used is called loom. So, the purpose of the loom is to hold warp so that weft can be woven through them. So now this loom can be hand operated or power operated. The warp is already there and weft is woven through the warp. Now there are certain power operated looms also. So here in this picture you can see a power operated loom or a power loom. A power loom is a mechanized loom which runs by steam or electric power. So here you need not do anything manually. The input is given in the machines and the machines themselves do the entire process of weaving. Now these hand operated looms are also called hand looms. In hand looms, much effort is required by the person who is operating a hand loom, and that is why handloom fabric is more expensive as compared to the fabrics made on power looms. Now there is another alternative process to weaving, and that is knitting, by which we can arrange the yarn to form a fabric. In case of weaving, we took two sets of yarn, one of which is arranged horizontally and another is arranged vertically. Whereas in knitting, a single set of yarn is required. You can check out at your house also. Your mother or grandmother might know how to knit a sweater with a woolen yarn. So they knit it with the help of knitting needles like this. So these two sticks which are here you can see in this picture. So these are actually the knitting needles. Now through knitting also we can have so many different patterns and so many different clothes to wear like caps, then gloves, socks, sweaters, mufflers, and so many more. Now, laces of different patterns can also be formed by knitting using threads of silk, cotton, or wool. And this is known as lace knitting. Now, sometimes we may get confused between weaving and knitting. People think that both of them are the same. They are same only in one context, that yarn is converted into fabric in both the cases. But in knitting, we use single set of yarn, whereas in weaving, we use two sets of yarn. Now, you might ask, what is the difference between the knitted fabric and the woven fabric? So, the very first difference is that one type of thread is used in the knitted fabric, whereas two sets of threads are used in woven fabric. And knitted fabric is more stretchy as compared to the woven fabric. Now, why knitted fabric might be more stretchy? Because they are interlooped, so there are a lot of open spaces which allows stretchability in them. Now, knitted fabric is thicker and heavier, and the woven fabric is thinner and lighter. The knitted fabric is interlooped, whereas the woven fabric is interlaced. Now, for example, we can have t shirts and sweaters out of knitted fabric, and out of woven fabric, we can have shirts, denims, chiffons, satins, etc. Now, since we have spoken so much about fabric, so we have also seen how cotton fabric is made from the cotton balls, and the formation of other fabrics is also more or less the same. So, now when we talk about clothing material, cotton is not the only fabric used to make clothes. So, there could be a variety of clothes like unstitched and stitched clothes. Like saris are the examples of unstitched clothes, whereas kurta, coat pants, etc., they are the examples of the stitched clothes. And all these are made up of various fabrics. For example, jute. Now, jute is less expensive, natural fiber. It is obtained from the stems or stalks of the jute plant. It has fairly good strength. It is grown in rainy season in areas of West Bengal, Bihar, and Assam in India, as they get plenty of rains. So, what are its uses? It is means first of all, I want to show you here that this is the fabric of jute, what it looks like, right? Then its uses are, it is used to make sacks or what you call storage bags, or bags for storing grains and other vegetables also sometimes. Ropes are also made out of jute. Then we have the silk fabric. So it is used for making saris and other clothings. Now here you can also see that silk cloth is having a shine which cotton cloth might not have. We get silk from the silk moth, the cocoon of the silk moth, and these white egg like structures are actually the cocoons of the silk moth from which we obtain silk. Now, there is coir also, which is obtained from the husk of coconut, and it is used for making doormats and brushes for cleaning surfaces and coir mattresses also. So, with this, we come to the end of this chapter, and thus we have seen that how the clothes which we wear are actually made from different materials.